Everyone, I guess we're live. Just test my check my settings, not test my settings, and just make sure that everything is working okay. All right. All right. I think everything is going well. It's going well. But the question is, how are you guys going? Are you going well? All right. So today, I thought I'll just jump back on and muck about a bit. I got some cool gear I want to test out. Got some new pedals that I've just installed, and they are hydraulic pedals. And basically, what I want to do is to work on getting my muscle memory back up to scratch, and also work on getting back into streaming. So I thought, why not train two muscles at the same time? The streaming muscle and also the racing muscle. So many muscles. What I'm gonna do as well is I'm gonna do something a little bit different. In terms of actually getting into the brake feeling and all that other kind of stuff, I'm gonna show you something that I think is pretty cool. That I've been sort of messing about with, and hopefully I can show it on OBS and everything is set up properly and it works okay. So, what I intend to show you guys is I intend to show you guys the racing school thing that I normally use. Um, so hope you guys can see that. So it's called oh, I can't pronounce his name. I don't want to butcher it too. Saulo Motor Racing, something along those lines, but this is what it looks like. And basically, I've been using this quite a bit, and I'm sort of like halfway through the course. But it's a course that you sign up for, and then you'll see this guy. He's sort of got a YouTube channel, and he's a real world racer, a real life racer, but he also does coaching as well. And inside the course, you've got so many like lessons and drills that you could do that are pretty cool, get you up to speed, and they kind of make you practice in a more meaningful manner, right? So I guess what we're going to be doing really is kind of going through some of his stuff and yeah, just kind of bring your attention to it and say if you guys really want to do this and try it up, yeah, get into it and see how we go. It's well worth it. It is well worth it. So to do this, what I'm thinking of doing is actually let's see if I do that. That should bring me back onto the screen. Is actually jumping into some testing for the current GT3 race, which is at Laguna Seca. So I'm gonna fire that up via VRS, and then yeah, we could start doing some driving. Aside from that, how's everyone doing? How are you guys doing? Right, where is my VRS telemetry? Here we go. Get the web app going. log in. Just have a quick look at what my password says. Oh yeah. Right, so this is what we're looking at. So, if we jump into driving packs, in the VRS data system, and we want to look at the GT3 fix. I think this will work as well. And we'll also have a look at the open because it'll be cool to get a no, this is Road Atlanta. Wrong one. Let's keep going. We're not quite there yet. We want the VRS series, which I believe is at Laguna Seca. Yep, that's the one. So jump in, grab that data pack. Okay, so he's done a 124. I'll just download that for now. Then we have it. And then fire up iRacing. Okay, this should work. This should work. Now, so I got these new pedals a couple of days ago, and I've sold my old pedals. And then I spent half the morning sort of setting everything up, getting the stream all sorted, making sure stuff looked somewhat as though I put effort into it. And then, yeah, I'm just going to jump in, do a bit of driving, do a bit of testing, and then we can see how we go. I'm not pulling the fire alarm empty. That is not happening. But yes, it does make sense sort of setting the rig up downstairs here where we have some of the whole commercial part of this dual zoned residential / commercial place where we live. Because we've got harder floors down here, we've got harder carpet, and so the motion rig isn't necessarily going to ruin things as much. Okay, so we're just waiting for iRacing to sign up. Hey, MT, have you checked out this racing school stuff that I was talking about? All right. Let's test this. See how we go. We do that. You guys should be able to see what I'm saying. All right. I'll show it to you after I just make sure that my FOV and everything is fine. It's quite weird when you haven't been streaming for a while. It takes a minute for you to get back into everything. Hold on. I need to reduce the engine noise. It's a little too loud. Drop it to maybe about there. How are the audio levels? Are they good? So with these pedals, what you get is it's an hydraulic set, but also you get a set of springs that you put in there. And when they come out of the box, they have a really hard red spring, and they also have a slightly softer, well, the softest spring of all, which is yellow. And that's probably the best way to really get that feeling of the hydraulics happening. But what I found was the issue, for me anyways, is that the yellow spring was so soft that for about 1 or 2 millimeters worth of travel, it wasn't being picked up by the game, by the load cell. And so I found it really difficult to trail brake, because when I ease up and my foot is still depressed, it's not picking up any signal. So now, by swapping out the lighter spring, which is the yellow one, and then putting in this second hardest spring, which is a blue one, and so having a red and blue combination, I find that for me to move that pedal, I actually have to put pressure, and the load cell picks it up, but it's thrown my sensation for trail braking off. And I think you should be able to see it with the overlays that I've put up there. Oh, what the inputs are doing. So hopefully I can sort of get used to them and have a decent race. Let's try and do a clean lap and sort of see what my starting point is. Ugh, that's nowhere near 120. I haven't sim raced in so long, I don't even know where the lines are with this. Okay. Okay, so we know where our starting point is, which is not good. Let's check this out.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Motor Racing Checklist. In this video, I'm gonna share some tips on how to get the maximum from this course. 1. Binge it. Watch it all, let your subconscious brain absorb the new terms and concepts just enough to be familiarized. The idea here is just let the information sink in a bit before going in depth on each lesson and applying them on track. If you immediately go on track and try to apply everything at the same time, you will be overwhelmed and confused since driving involves too many skills and we're mostly driving on automatic. And if you try to consciously think about all these concepts at the same time, your system will crash and so will you. 2. Go back and take notes. After you do the first run through, go back and watch it again while taking notes. Watch a bit, take notes. Practice on track, take notes. This will help you memorize the most important bits of each video, and it will be much easier for your brain to remember what to focus when driving. 3. Feel it. The key here is transforming knowledge into understanding. We'll transform a bunch of words, terms, and ideas into actual feeling that will eventually become automatic in your driving. In other words, understand the theory, then understand the feeling. Then it will happen naturally without you even thinking about it. This process is difficult. Frustration is a necessary part of the process when your brain is still digesting all the new information and trying to fit them into your previous set of technique skills. No pain, no gain. Don't fight frustration, embrace it, and keep going. Sleep is important in this process, and coming back to it day after day will help your brain process it and store the new information.
It feels like going back to school,
you know? 4. Compare. If you really want to see how much you're improving, create a benchmark. Find a car and track combo with fixed conditions and do a stint, maybe 10-20 laps. Record a replay, take notes on strengths and weaknesses, what corners you struggle, and so on. Then, pick a few areas to start applying some of the techniques discussed in this course. After a week or two practicing, come back to that same combo and try another stint to compare. Take notes on the differences. Take notes, take notes, take notes. Write down your thoughts. You'll be surprised when you read them again after some time, and you will be able to trace your progress much more easily. 5. Be patient. Expect small, tiny improvements and then stack them up. Find half a tenth, then a tenth, then one more tenth, then one more tenth. Don't expect to find 2 seconds in a session, especially if you are already advanced. The closer we get to the limit of the car, the more diminishing returns we get. Take your time and respect your brain and energy. It will come slowly but surely. Here it is. I hope this course starts a transformation in your driving. My ultimate goal here is to help you master levels of driving that you didn't even know you could master. I want you to have more fun, to be more confident, and to keep always improving. Now let's dive into the course and have fun driving on track.
What do you guys think? Ooh, wrong screen. Here we go. All right. Let's pick a lesson. Let us pick a lesson. Braking. That's exactly what I want to do. And run through a few of these drills. Okay.
To safely find the limit around the racetrack, we need to know not only how much the car can rotate at different speeds, but also how quickly the car can decelerate to those speeds. On this chapter, we will discuss the braking capability of the car on a straight line, removing the turning part from the equation to analyze more closely the braking dynamics of a race car. It is very common to focus excessively on corners and not maximize the braking, leaving a lot of grip on the table. The reason is the method we use to find speed. The most common method for racing drivers is to try to brake later first and then trying to deal with that situation by adding more brakes or trying to keep the car on track. This can be dangerous since we may end up over the limit, and as soon as we start locking or getting into ABS and find the limit, the chances of going off and crashing go up drastically. Then, After having some scary moments, we end up becoming afraid of braking late again, and our braking efficiency is harmed. But we don't need to take extremely high risks to reach the maximum braking efficiency. We don't need to brake later first and then try our luck with the braking. Instead, what we can do is brake at the same safe reference, but harder. This way, we will not be panicking about whether the car will stop or not, and this leaves us with more mental energy to analyze and feel
and then
the
brake
braking
harder by
performance.
using the same
Then,
reference.
After feeling that the car can stop more and getting close to the longitudinal limit of the grip, then we can start braking later. This is especially important in real life for obvious reasons, but do it in the simulator and you will find the limit of the car much more quickly, decreasing the time it takes to get up to pace. Crashing in the simulator doesn't harm you physically, but going back to the pits, restarting all the time, totally kills the flow of your practice. In other words, we want to find the limit of the braking first on a safe environment or situation, which is braking quite early, and then we start moving the braking references further.
Gotcha. All right, let's try that. Let's try this one here.
So what we want to do with this exercise is figure out where is the threshold for different cars. So every car that you go, you have to figure out where you're going to brake hard.
He's really good at sort of explaining information
where
and just
you get into
being
that locking.
concise, isn't he?
So for this car, for example, this car has a lot of downforce. So the braking here is going to be way different from a GT car. So here I'm going to brake at 100. What you see in the telemetry is that I have to decrease the brakes very slowly as the speed goes down because we lose downforce, and the downforce is basically the air pushing the car down, and you want to kind of figure out how much downforce the car has on the higher speeds and how much downforce the car has on the lower speed. So in this case, the Formula 1 is pretty aggressive with means. We can brake very hard, as much as even 100% in some places, and we need to go down to as low as 40% to prevent locking. If I brake with this car the same way I would brake with a GT car, what is going to happen? We're going to brake at 80% and maintain it. So what happened here? This is interesting because we actually were under the limit on initial braking because we had a lot of downforce. But as the downforce went down, because we maintained the brakes, we eventually got over the limit and locked up the tires. So this is an extreme example of downforce cars. If you go to a Formula 3, that difference between how hard you can brake initially and how hard you can brake on lower speeds is going to be way lower because the car has lower downforce. So for example, it goes from 75% to 65%. In this car, on the Formula 1, for example, we go from 80 to 40. At least in iRacing, which makes a bigger difference because of the amount of downforce that this car has on higher speeds. If we use a different car, like the Porsche 911 Cup car, this car has no ABS, no traction control. We're gonna try braking as much as the car is capable of here. Let's see what happens. We actually maintain the brakes pretty hard at around 85-90%, and the car did not lock up, which means the difference in downforce in this car is pretty much, well, it exists, but it's much lower, which means we don't have to take into account that much. So my braking will be pretty much consistent here, and we just need to find that pressure that will not make the car lock up. So here, for example, it's a very common thing to brake like this and feel okay, the car did not lock up, I'm gonna use that braking. But what you want to do really is brake a little bit later so you can really get very close to that locking pressure, so you can make sure that on a straight line you are braking as much as possible, because at that moment you want to be using 100% of the grip of the car. And again, this may sound like something very basic, but that 100%...
Yeah, this is tough to do.
being guaranteed that you're braking as hard as possible. It's quite easy on a corner like Monza, like T1. But as soon as you go to other corners where the hard braking part is a little bit shorter, it's easy to be confused and to mix up things between hard braking and cornering. So what we want to do again, figure out the braking capabilities of the car, make sure that you can really stop the car as much as possible on a straight line. Let's choose a point here for this car, just like we did before. You can see that this car, you can brake pretty much very hard, 85-90% here with no big deal, no problem. This car is very mechanical, so as you can see, on a car that has a lot of mechanical grip like that and does not depend on downforce, there are some factors that will affect the braking capability of the car.
Okay. Let's do some drills and see what happens. Jump back into iRacing real quick. And see how we go. And see how we go. All right. Let's jump in here and see. So I think we need to find like a straight line where I can sort of practice and build out the muscle memory. And I guess maybe a line with no undulations in the road textures as well. At least that's what I'm thinking. So we'll go to the... Yeah, I think this is a good enough truck. Okay, so about there. The car that I'm driving currently is the new Ferrari. I think, is it the 969 maybe? All right, let's go to the main straight. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So I'm thinking maybe 75 to 80%. Yeah. About 75 to 80% is where the car's braking limit is in a straight line. Alright, let's consistently try and do it without locking up. And then try and find references. Braking references. I'll be honest with you though, the pedals do feel really good. They feel more... Natural is not the correct word to use, but I'd say they feel a lot more familiar compared to the elastomer pedals that I've been using with just the elastomers and load cells. There's something about that hydraulic thing that adds a smoothness to it. And they're still quite responsive. I don't feel as though there's a delay in me getting off the throttle. It's quite interesting because once you sort of get your head around the braking, it I should have hit the brakes a lot earlier there. You get a better, clearer picture of where the reference is. Like this car stops a lot sooner. Than I would initially would have thought. So brake here. Trail brake into that. Okay. I think I know one other lesson that I probably need to try to tidy this up before I get into racing. It's not a braking exercise, but we'll do it. We'll revisit trail braking, shall we? Let's check this out.
Okay, now I want to talk about brake bias when trail braking, because we were talking about brake bias when braking hard, and that already was affecting the churning. But more than that, when you start churning in, you still have some braking, right? And then that's gonna be even more important to figure out what is the right brake bias. Because sometimes you got a brake bias that works well for braking on a straight line without locking the rears, for example. But then when you churn in and start trail braking, you still lock the fronts. That depends a lot on the setup. On cars where you have a lot of anti-roll bar on the front, it's very easy to lock the inside. In some places you can even, like, without braking, when you churn, the inside lifts and has absolutely no connection to the track. So that's the extreme, but you can visualize that when you turn into a corner, you have a lot less grip on the inside front, and that's the easiest tire to lock. So in a situation here with 45% brake bias, where braking too hard would kill me, you could think, okay, well, if I brake too hard at 45% brake bias, it's gonna be terrible because I will never be able to brake hard and turn into the corner. But sometimes you need that very low brake bias to make the car churn in some places where the car understeers very easily. So here, for example, I can get that extra rotation with 45. Of course, this is an extreme example, but I'm showing that in a place where the car understeers a lot, you can actually use a little bit of very low brake bias to make the car rotate more. For example, I remember races at Spa where we would brake with 52% brake bias on a straight line into La Source, the very, very low speed corner right before the long straight, because there we wanted to take care of the rears for the good exit, right? We wanted to keep the surface temperature on the rears low, and then after turning, boom, power very aggressively because we wanted that very good grip and traction. So that's why we took care of the rears under braking. It was easier to lock the fronts, yes, but then
Okay,
I
he's
just needed
clearly
to take
talking
care
about
of the
brake
fronts
bias
so
here.
I could, so I wouldn't
So
lock
I don't
them
think
up,
I'm getting
and I will still get a decent rotation, and then it would pay off on
as
the exit
much
because we would have more grip on the rears.
out of this
But
one
at
as I
Pujon,
thought
the
I would.
left-hander, very, very high-speed corner, the car.
What's this one here about? Muscle efficiency relaxation from YouTube. Yeah, nah, we'll get. Don't need that one. Let's try. There was an MRP one that I thought was really good that I need to have a look at. Yeah, maximum rotation point. The MRP. Yeah, so there's a lot in here, guys. There is a lot of knowledgeable stuff that I think you guys should check out. Obviously, I'm not going to show it all because it's sort of paid content, and I don't necessarily want to be giving too much of his IP away. But yeah, this is sort of the content that's there. I will watch one video around MRP because I want to practice that before jumping in and seeing where we go.
I want to illustrate a way to figure
This is
out
quite a good one. Like, it's one of my favorite ones. I always come to this video a lot.
We're gonna do a hairpin 180 degrees, the simplest way to figure out that, but then we're gonna take some conclusions and rules that we can use to identify the maximum rotation point of more difficult, more complicated corners that are not obvious. So as soon as we start braking, you can see that we are creating a force against the speed of the car, right? And immediately we already see that this force is kind of similar to the final direction we're going. Then we start turning, right? We start turning like that. We're still braking a little bit, and then we start getting back on power like that. It's not perfect, but you guys got an idea of what we do generally. Now, there's one way to visualize how you conduct the energy correctly so that you do this corner as efficiently as possible. For example, here, when we are braking, like I said, we created a force that is the same direction of that force here. Here, at this point, let's take a point here. We are creating a force to this direction. But we're also turning. So we are turning to the right, this direction. And if you get the final force, it should look something like this, ideally. And this force here, this direction of the sum of the forces, also coincides with the final direction that we want to go. If we take this point here, we are accelerating to that direction, but we're also turning slightly to the right, to this direction. In the end, we will have the same final force that matches this one here. So far, so good. What would happen if we got back on power a little bit too early? Let's say here. At this point here, let's say we start accelerating more or less here, we are creating a force to this direction, and we are turning to this direction. If you get the sum of the forces, you get this direction, this vector, that is not like this one. So this would eventually push the car. You're creating a force that is pushing the car away from the final direction. So that's why we don't want to get back on power. And also, if
so is that gonna be you going wide with
braking for too
understeer?
long, and you're doing this, at this point you're creating a force against the final direction. Even though you're turning to the right like that, your final force points like that, and that's not good. What do we take from this? We want to rotate at least 50% of the corner in a situation where we have to slow down a lot, and we are slowing down while turning. We have to rotate 50% of that corner before getting back on power.
Okay.
So in this example, this is 180 degrees. We need to rotate 90 degrees. In a corner of 90 degrees, something like, I don't know, that, you want to rotate at least half of it. You want to rotate 45 by the time you get here.
Then you put the
and
power
then you get back
on.
on power. The car's gonna have a better exit. Because think like that. If the corner is 90, like that, and you turn only 40 here, let me exaggerate. You turn not enough here. By the time you get back on power, you still have to do a lot of rotation here. And
Yeah.
by asking for lots of rotation while getting back on power, you can spin. If you rotate too much, like that, like let's say the corner is 90 degrees, but you already rotated 60 on entry. When you get back on power, it's too easy, right? Because you can just slowly go back and you're under the limit. So if you do that, if you can do that, that means you're over slowing on entry. So a good baseline is to rotate 50% of the corner. On corners where you have to slow down to do them, rotate 50% as a good baseline. This is what I do mostly to find my maximum rotation point, my MRP. I see the corner, I get an idea of how much I have to rotate, and I try to rotate half of it by the time we get on half of the corner as a baseline. And then you get to understand the car. If the car prefers to rotate a little bit more on entry, if the car is understeering on entry or oversteering on entry, you will get to do the adjustments, but the baseline is 50% of the rotation.
That's an awesome video. Like, I always keep coming back to that because I find it so useful. All right, let's jump back into iRacing. And then let's do some practice and actually do some racing, I think. Do a bit of practice and do a bit of racing. Now, I downloaded a setup. So let us plug that in. iRacing setups. We're in the Ferrari 296. Laguna. So, if I come in here, garage. No, we're not jumping there. My setups. Let's try this. So this in VRS, I think they did a 120. So probably not gonna get there, but we'll have a play, work our way there, and then if we're anywhere within 4 seconds, knowing my speed and skill level, then that should be good enough. Just check on the stream, make sure everything else is going, ticking along nicely. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, that guy's website with the racing school and courses, that's it's pretty useful stuff. I find anyways. Especially if you're a person who normally like drives from field and things of that nature, and you just want something where you can kind of get a few pointers that you can work on and drills. Yeah. I normally watch 1 or 2 of his videos and then just kind of practice that. I came in too hot with that one. I need to figure out how to do T1 on this corner coming up here. I'm not very good at it. Yeah, I always run wide, I think. Don't run wide. Yeah. I'm carrying too much speed there. Little too much speed. So what's happening here?
Welcome to this week's Ferrari 296 GT3 video tutorial for a race up around Laguna Seca, driven by myself in the track conditions as shown on VRS. My name is Pascalis Georgis. Together we're going to take a full lap around the track first, before we start our video tutorial.
Alright, how does he take this? So, he hits the brake just before the line. He keeps really tight and is in second gear. He's annihilating those curves. He's really attacking those curves. Alright, I see where he's braking. Oh yeah, and he just consumes that curve as well. And then how does he take this one? Takes it out to third. Drops this to 1.
We are now in our analyzer for the 4th week of the VRS Sprint Series. We're going at Laguna Seca, the Ferrari 296 GT3. We just saw the intro and the full onboard lap, and now is the time to take a deeper look around this current track combination. And I must admit that I really enjoyed driving the Ferrari for the first time this season. I wasn't really missing the old car, the 488, for this one. But in Laguna Seca, it felt really nice. I was able to put a really nice lap, and the setup felt perfect. And yeah, I'm glad to be able to provide it to you guys. In the setup section,
All right.
load our analyzer. And on the top right, we'll also check the weather. It should be 7th of October, 7th of October 2023 at 12 p.m.
It's just that first
temperature around 20,
corner
track
that I
around
need to check
33.
out.
Not the hottest you can get in
And-
Laguna Seca, if I'm honest. I've seen a lot worse, but 33 degrees, it will only get hotter during the races, and the track is pretty challenging for the tires, so we will definitely have to do a good job with our driving to preserve them. Now, let's start our lap by crossing the start finish line, heading towards the very first corner. We have this downhill kink before we head into the first few corners. It is a double left-hander, the one that we are approaching, and in terms of braking, obviously going down the hill, the car won't stop as easily, so we have to be really disciplined and on time with our braking timing. And usually I'm waiting for that patch of the road that opens up to use it as a not only positioning wise but also as a braking reference. And this is
Okay,
exactly
between
what
the
I'm
4
getting
and the
on
3.
brakes. Getting really wide, as you can see, it is allowed, and I'm definitely gonna explore that part of the track.
Okay, and it
Also-
goes wide as well on track.
I'm staying around 75 to 80% of braking in the first few meters, where I'm keeping the wheel straight, and it's the heaviest part of the braking. Before I started to
Turn in.
aim towards that first apex. Spot this red anti-cut. That's gonna be our first apex, and we're gonna get pretty close to that curb. At this point, I'm releasing the brakes, and I'm going to continue to do so
Okay,
until
let's
the curb
go.
ends here, and I'm gonna basically track out from that first apex. Now, the tighter you stay here, and obviously correlating that with the speed that you carry, the less that the car will open up. So ideally, we want to always be as tight as possible here, in case of running a bit more, in case of carrying a bit more momentum, in order to not track out too much. Because if you're a bit wider already and you also brake a bit later, then it will just be aggravated. So I'm always trying to keep it as tight as possible. In this particular lap, I was able to maintain the ideal amount of speed, because the car opened up from the left side of the road, almost 2 cars wide, but it did not track out too wide. It was wide enough to create a good angle of approach for the second left-hander, which is the exit, and I'm always trying to stay a bit in the middle, just to straight line the exit as much as possible by getting really close into that second anti-cut, and obviously next to the curb. And obviously I'm going to utilize the whole width of the curb, and that only happens because of the approach that I had prior. Now, if you
Okay.
sit too tight, it's just going to be impossible to approach this part of the track this well, and you're just going to have to take the foot off the pedal. Obviously, if you run even wider,
All right, let's give that a try. Let's go back to iRacing. Let us give that a try. Okay. Hey Franco, sorry, I'm only just seeing your message. No, I haven't been following the Rugby World Cup. I haven't been able to actually get time to get onto the games and sort of see what's going on. fact, I've been pretty slack on a lot of sport recently. I haven't been following my motorsport. I haven't been watching the rally or Formula One. I didn't watch the Football World Cup or the Rugby World Cup. I think New Zealand had a match with Uruguay. Is that correct? Or am I making that up recently? All right, let's try tackling this first corner. See if we've learned something. Get off it. Nah, came in too hot. I need to slow down a lot more. Brakes here. Slow down too much. On 25, so I'm 4 seconds off the pace. Still wide, still wide. And I need to use more of the track as well. More of the track, brake hard, fully rotate, commit. Get on the power. See what that looks like. 24, you shaved a second off. Brake here. Open up the car. Get off the brake. Turn. No. Need to. I'm coming in too hot in that corner. Way too hot. I think I need a bit more practice, but sometimes practicing in the race is good enough. All right.
The exit
What about
in terms of width, and that always allows me to be more aggressive on the lots of practice to.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did in this case. A bit more aggressive, but it was definitely okay. Before we now go into those two very flowy corners that are right after each other,
So
we're
where does
gonna
he
start
place the car
a bit
here?
wide, but close in towards the middle and keep the car there. You don't need to hold a wider line, and you certainly don't want to hold a tighter line. And basically all I'm gonna do now is just lift off and play with the throttle in between, just to maintain the car a bit more neutral. I'm applying the throttle a bit more here in order to avoid from tracking in a bit prematurely. So I'm gonna try to keep the wide line as much as I possibly can, but I know that I'm
So does he
reaching
not
towards
apply
the
any
car there. You don't need
brakes?
but the exit was still really good because I was able to kind of correct it right in the nick of time. So always try to brake in time. Try to straight line this braking zone, and again, hitting the first part is kind of the key, because if you are able to just cut through this part just a bit, you can then swing the wheel immediately and just follow the curve basically. And that's exactly what I did in this case. A bit more aggressive, but it was definitely okay. Before we now go into those two very flowy corners that are right after each other, we're gonna start a bit wide, but close in towards the middle and keep the car there. You don't need to hold a wider line, and you certainly don't want to hold a tighter line. And basically all I'm gonna do now is just lift off and play with the throttle in between, just to maintain the car a bit more neutral. I'm applying the throttle a bit more here in order to avoid from tracking in a bit prematurely. What I do now is just lift off and follow the curve basically. That's exactly what I did in this case.
Sorry,
A
I
bit
keep
more
taking it
aggressive,
back. I want to see
but
exactly
it was
what
definitely
he's
okay.
doing.
Before
with
we
his
now
pedal
go into
input.
those two very flowy corners that
So he
are
goes
right after
off
each
the
other, we're gonna
gas
start a bit wide,
just
but
after the
close
banner.
in towards the middle and keep the car there. You don't need to hold a wider line, and you certainly don't want to hold a tighter line. And basically all I'm gonna do now is just lift off and play with the throttle in between, just to maintain the car a bit more neutral. I'm applying the throttle a bit more here in order to avoid from tracking in a bit prematurely. So I'm gonna try to keep the wide line as much as I possibly can, but I know that I'm reaching towards the ending phases of this corner, and especially this area is what I'm tracking always, to always kind of try place the car within it, and I did. And then you'll notice here how I fully commit on the throttle once the car has kind of pointed towards that direction, using all of the track possible next to the anti-cut once again. And that itself certainly now opens up everything else. I'm able to go immediately back on full throttle, upshifting into fourth, using all of the outside curb, but still having enough time to bring the car towards the other side. And this is important. You cannot afford to run wide because this is just going to upset the next entry as well. One more time and we'll go.
Alright, and then he goes wide, comes back.
Before
Okay. I think I have
before
an idea. I think at this point we should just jump on track and then do a few runs and a bit of practice and then see how we go. Alright. Let's jump into a server. When is the next race? Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. It's 40 minutes. Okay. Yep. Register for this one. Just waiting for the sim to jump back up again. Right, join, launch sim. Meanwhile, let's have a look and see what chat is saying. "40-minute race, guys. This is going to be fun. This is going to be real fun. It's been a while since I've actually done a race this long, but hopefully, fingers crossed, it all works out well and we don't have any issues." I hope you guys enjoyed this slightly different style of stream where I actually run through the, I guess, training process is what you would call it, the practice process that I would normally try and do, as opposed to just showing the race. Oh, wait, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to load the setup. My setups, Laguna, VRS. Here we go. I need to set up a thingy blocker for that. My bad. Is everything showing up correctly? All right. Let's fix that, get rid of that. All right, let's run some practice. I think my goal for this race is just to kind of get back into the swing of things. You know, racing and driving with other people. I haven't done a live race in months. Like the last one I did was the Daytona 24, so that was in January. That's how you do that corner. I figured it out. Figured it out, guys. Now let's figure this guy out. I need to hit the hit that corner a lot better. Okay, if I do that, that is not how you exit pits. Okay, how about we just restart this? Actually, I'll take a toilet break. I'll be back. I'm back. All right, let's see if we can get a decent lap time, a decent practice time. I find like I stiffen up and I don't actually rotate the steering wheel when I'm driving. It's a weird. It's a weird problem to have. All right, let's figure this thing out. Brake hard, go wide. There we go. That's still an off track. I carried too much speed there. That's horrible. Again, I really need to be patient with that corner, I'm thinking. Let it come to me. Just getting worse. That's more like it. carry too much speed. So you really have to drop it into first. Okay. I think I'm going to struggle with that corner. I really am going to struggle with that corner. I'm not gonna lie, like some of the beats in this thing slap. Okay. Keep practicing. Oh, crap. Speeding in the pits? What? Not ideal. How about we exit the pits without wrecking the car? How about we do that? There are a few people signing up for this race. I think I'm braking too early because I have to go onto the power before I finish turning. So I'm losing time there. Braking too early in some points, braking too late in others. I've given up the time, go away. That might actually just be a section where you can lift off and not necessarily have to brake as hard as I am. We shall see. How am I 6 seconds off the fastest pace? That's pretty bad. That's an off track. It's not how we want to do this. Really need to be in first gear for that. Really need to be in first gear for that one. Getting a good lap time is going to be important because... yeah. When's the race starting? In 1 minute. The race kicks off in a minute, people. How are we? How are we? How are we all doing? I think the goal is finish the race without incident. Goal number 1. Goal number 2 is maybe place top 10. I think that's a realistic goal considering how long I've been out of the game, yeah? That's not too bombastic of a goal. I'll be curious to see where iRacing puts my pace. What car number am I? Car number 22. Okay. I might not be the fastest kid in the block. Just wait for the qualifying to start, because this little weird race session that it has for like 3 minutes, you never really get much done, because the moment you're coming out of the pits, you do at least one lap and then you just kickstart. It's more of like I always see it more of as a placeholder, you know? Get your drink ready and all that other kind of stuff. Use the toilet if you have to type situation. Not so much as yeah, actually practicing, because we're not. Don't know, I'm having a look here to see if I can see a few familiar faces in this lineup. And I've been out of the game for so long, I don't recognize any of these people. It also could be the fact that I am driving on a different time that I normally would be. Yuppie, yeah. Alright, let's get into quali. Do a bit of quali. I think another part of the reason why I'm having a difficult hitting the apexes the way I normally would is it's a few times that I do race in my private time. Because I'm not streaming, I just normally race in VR. And I find it a lot easier to sort of lean into the corner and look around the corners. Whereas on a screen, I'm having to adjust. Especially in corners like this, where precision is necessary. Here you go, slightly better. But it's an outlap, it doesn't count. Alright, let's see if we can put in a nice, gentle banker lap. Patient. Get on the gas. Car did not like that. Whatever it is I did, it did not like that. I almost lost it there. No off tracks, nice. Ease off. Line it up like it says, put the power down. Is that a decent banker? 25. Too fast. Lost it. Came in too hot. Alright, let's just take it home. Won't count, it was an off track. Abnormal lap invalid. What was abnormal about that lap? Go away. Your face is abnormal. How are we looking? Bullshit on P5. To be fair, it's not the most hardcore split. I've been dethroned. I'm in 6th. Okay. So stay out of trouble. Stay within the top 10. That's the goal. With staying out of trouble being the key one. Oh, you know what I almost forgot to do, guys? Shows you how long I've been out of the game. Crew chief. Crew chief. I almost went sim racing without crew chief.
Radio check.
Spotter, radio check.
There we go, that's better. Because that would have been dropping the ball.
That's the end of the session. 7th position.
Let's jump on the grid, boys.
One lap to green. Line up on the left side. Pit road is closed. The estimated strength of field is 1,046. A lot of opportunities today. Head down. Pick your battle.
All right, let's stay out of trouble, guys. It's a long race, 40 minutes. I think there's some really quick guys behind me who didn't qualify. Just looking at the iRating loss they're going to be making if they actually finish the position that they're sitting in. So we're gonna have a few people coming in hot from the back.
P7, 40 minutes.
Alright, settle in.
Follow car number 16 in the left column.
Sorry guys, I'm all focused because of the launch.
Go, nail it. Looks like P4 has gone off in the Andretti hairpin.
Right side, clear left.
Alright.
Well done at Taff. Good start.
Do I have incidence points? Who did I hit? Who didn't I hit? Doesn't matter. It's done. I think the car's fine. Get in a rhythm and go for it. Let it out.
Great stuff. Keep it coming, mate. P5. Okay, Taff, you just cut the track. You'll need to give back the time gained.
Clear right. Right side. Clear
Come on.
right.
The leader has just done a 124.3.
I've lost the top 10, guys, because I cut the track. No, we're still in it.
P9.
Let's catch these fools.
The car in front of us is Carpentiero.
Clear right.
Let him go. I don't trust him. Live to fight another day.
Fastest lap for Hera, 123.4.
I don't want to know about P1. I want to know about my time. Okay, maybe don't show me my
Fastest
time.
lap, Sector 1 is 0.3 off the pace. Sector 2 is 1.5 off the pace. Sector 3 is 1.2 seconds off the pace.
Let's catch these guys.
The gap behind is now 0.7.
How do I get past this guy?
You're reeling Carpentiero in. The gap's now 0.5. They're pretty slow into turn 5. You've just done a 124.8. That's a new fastest lap for Molina, 122.9.
So we've been making a mistake.
The stewards have warned us about track limits. Keep it between the lines.
I didn't know what's going on behind me, crew chief. I need to know what's happening in front of me.
New fastest lap for Molina, 122.8.
Okay, let's keep the pressure on, see what happens. I want him to know I can see his insides.
On your left. Clear left. Car right. Clear right.
B7, sector 3 is 1.2, off the pace. Okay, Taff, you're reeling Carpentiero in. The gap is 0.6. Incident in rainy curve. It looks like Ricker. Yellow flag.
Left side. Clear left.
There's an incident in turn 10. We think it might be Ricker. Ito has been disqualified. There's an incident in turn 11. It looks like it's Carpentiero.
Clear right.
This is excellent, mate. Keep it up. U5. That was a 125.8.
All right, that was a okay overtake, I guess. I'll have to look at it. I don't know whether it was a clean overtake and I induced them to brake really late, or I might have pushed a little too hard, especially when I came in on the inside there. Because I don't think he was expecting me, and I think the reason we didn't make contact was more because he was a better driver than I was. All right, let's see if we can catch the blue car. I'm triggering this ABS really badly. And maybe I need to just remember that we're only 10 minutes into the race. We have
That's your
another
quickest
30
lap in
minutes
this
to go.
session.
And take a chill pill. Let's catch the blue car. Carried way too much speed.
Savard is closing in. The gap is now 2.2.
I don't need to know what's happening behind me, crew chief. We discussed this. I need to know what's happening in front. Why are you following him off the road?
You've had a cut warning. Keep it tidy. Please tap. New fastest lap for Karate, 122.8.
Why did you follow him off the road, you idiot?
We'll be warned about track limits.
Yeah, I'm really racking up these track limits, aren't I? These guys are slowing me down. Don't hit me.
Fastest lap for Molina, 122.3. Pay attention to track limits. Please attack. Come on, mate, defend your position. There's an incident in turn 6. We think it might be Carpentiero. Incident in the corkscrew. It looks like Parente.
Track limits are killing me. To be fair, I didn't start off with a good start with that collision that happened right at the beginning. Alright, let's see if we can be opportunistic here. What if I drop back to 8?
P8.
I think my mistake with the last one was getting mixed up with those guys that were battling in front. I need to be a little more patient. And then take advantage and not get involved as much. Yeah.
Okay, Taff, you've got half your fuel left. McClellan is getting closer. The gap's now 3.9. Stay focused. We're still in this. 7th position. That's a new fastest lap for Molina on 22.2. The gap in front is now 1.0.
Hey Tony, how you doing? Sorry, I just saw your message. I was in the zone, buddy. The stream is probably lagging. This is me just stress testing it for now, but I'll have a look and see what's happening after the race. Ooh. No, don't, come on.
All right, Taff, the next car is Parente.
I was pretty much that guy's bump stop. Now I have to finish ahead of him. The only reason he's still in the race is because he used my car as a cushion. Don't close
Clear
in on
right.
me.
Car right. Clear right.
Sorry.
That's 20 minutes to go, 20 minutes. Okay, Taff, we're halfway through. Should be about 14 minutes of fuel remaining. B6.
Going after the blue car. That's the car that we want. Slow down too much. I only have 3 more of these lifts.
We've been warned about track limits.
Oh, 1 car contact and then we're done. And we're only halfway through the race. This is going to be brutal.
Right, the guy ahead of us is Ricker. P5.
This Ricker fella behind us is a speed. There's Ricker, the guy in front of me. Michael behind
Alright,
us is
Taff,
a speed.
the next car is Parente.
Left side. Still there. Hold
See,
your line.
that is how you share the road.
Hold your line. Still there. Clear left.
The car in front is Savard.
What happened to Michael? Did he decide trying to overtake in the corkscrew was not a good idea?
Minutes left.
Let's go, boys!
The leader, Hera, is pitting. Come on, Taff. Good stuff. Keep it coming. This is brilliant. Keep it up. P4. That lap time was 124.9. The gap to Parente ahead is increasing. It's now 6.0. There's an incident in turn 11. Looks like it's Carpentiero.
On your right, clear right.
We've just had a warning for cutting the track.
Oh, sorry there, Tony, man. I'll check my settings, and hopefully it won't keep freezing.
P5.
Sorry about that, man. But yeah, thanks for turning up. God damn it, this race is turning to shit.
You cut the track. Keep it nice and tidy.
Alright, I think I need to pit, get some gas.
Look out for the pit speed limit. Pit lane speed limit is 56 kilometers per hour.
Pit boxing 10, 5, 3, 2, 1. Right here.
The car behind's pitting now.
All the damage is repairable. We're done. Get going.
Okay, Taff, 10 minutes to go. That's 10 minutes left. There's a car behind. Stay inside the line. Limiter's still on. Disengage it.
The car behind is pitting.
Blue flag. The car in front is Carpentiero. Blue flag. Blue flag.
On your right. Hold your line. Clear right.
Blue flag. P10.
Car left. Clear left.
Blue flag.
Right side. Clear right.
Okay, Taff, you've got 10 minutes of fuel remaining.
On your left. Clear left.
E9. Yellow flag. There's an incident in the corkscrew. We think it might be Carpentiero. Okay, Taff. The next car is Carpentiero. Come on, man, keep pushing. 5 minutes to go, 5 minutes left.
Car left. Clear left.
The gap to Carpentiero in front is now 2.4 seconds. Okay, Taff, we estimate you've got 5 minutes of fuel remaining.
Alright, let's bring it home. We didn't do too well with the whole no collisions thing, but if we can sort of bring it home in top 10, I'll be a happy camper. And I think I'll probably just bring it home because I don't want to get another incident point.
Just 2 minutes left, 2 minutes to go.
I think I've got the muscle memory down now, though. I'm not locking up the tires as much as I thought I would be.
Very little fuel left. Two litres remaining. We're running on fumes, mate. That's a new fastest lap for Molina, 122.1.
I just need one more lap out of you. One more lap.
1 litre remaining. P9. One more lap to go.
Come on. Come on. You can do it. Come on. We can do it. We can do it. Come on.
Car left. Clear left.
That's 2 minutes left. 2 minutes. Black flag. We'll need to come into the pits to serve it.
Without stopping. They say you cut the course.
Black flag. We'll need to come into the pits to serve the penalty.
Damn. Damn.
The car behind is closing on you. The gap is 9.
Damn.
3.
There's an incident in turn 1. It looks like it's Savard. Blue flag. You've got 3 laps to serve this penalty.
Come on, you can do it.
Watch your speed limit in the pits. Activate limiter.
We're gonna do this. We're gonna roll down. This is gonna be awesome. Come on, keep rolling. Keep rolling. Keep rolling.
Pit boxing. 10.
Come on, we can do this. We can finish this race.
2. 1. Right here. All the damage is repairable.
Awesome race, guys. Awesome race.
Repairs are almost finished up.
And we finished P11, I think. So yeah, we just fell shy of the top 10. In fact, we fell shy of all of our goals. I guess we're gonna have to try this again at some point. And that's the end of the race, guys.
All right, Taff, 15 minutes left. That's 15 minutes.
There's the flag. It's over. Okay, we'll get them next time. Okay, go.
All right, let's jump out. Have a look at some replays and see how we go. So results. Gridded 7th, finished 11th. Really, I think we should have finished 5. There were too many incidences and all sorts of dumb stuff. Put that away. All right, let's have a look at some of the... If I quit, will it? No, it won't. I thought it was going to take me through the... Alright, let's do this then. Show you guys the results, the damage. If I do that. Yep. And then minimize that. Cool. What are the results? Where do I find my results? Here we go. I could have done so much better here. So I've lost 23 safety rating, but I've gained some I rating. All right, we need to do this again, but this time try and get this up there and get that up there. But prior to doing that, I'm gonna go grab some lunch in the stream, come back stronger. And Gus from Spain, hello. Thank you very much for joining. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the last part of the race when I was trying to finish with all the drama. But I'll be back here, guys, after I've played with my stream settings a little bit, because a colleague contacted me and said that I need to fine-tune some of my encoder settings really quickly. So I'll do that, and then hopefully it'll be optimized for next time, and I'll be back online to say hi. So thank you very much, and have an awesome day.